Now, on to our top story. Britain will ask Kosovo to take small boat migrants and rejected asylum seekers as part of plans for a series of return hubs, according to The Times.
Whilst formal talks haven't begun, ministers are said to be hoping to have made progress by the autumn, when Western Balkan leaders will meet in London.
Yeah, the plan comes as Channel crossings hit record highs, with over 13,500 migrants arriving already this year.
But any deal comes at a cost, with Britain expected to have to pay for each relocation. So, will it save money or will it cost us more?
Let's speak to the government and Minister of State for Secondary Care, Karin Smyth. Karin, thank you very much for joining us this morning. First, let's start off with this story on cancer waiting lists. Of course, we're hearing about this new groundbreaking treatment being rolled out, thanks to new radiotherapy machines. Can you tell us a bit more about those?
Yeah, so I'm speaking to you from the Bristol Oncology Centre, where they will be receiving one of these new machines. 28 trusts across the country, funded as part of that autumn budget last year, that £26 billion. These machines really target tumours so that you can have more treatment delivered in one go, and that means patients have fewer appointments, which obviously is better for them, and it's better for use of the machine, so it's much more productive. So, for example, a patient might have had 15 appointments and they might only have 5. That's obviously still a difficult thing for them to go through, but so much better than having a long list of appointments. And it means that you can have more people, so we can get down those waiting lists. And it's also part of our commitment to staff in the NHS, because we know they've been working with out-of-date equipment, equipment that breaks down, and that leads to cancelled appointments. And we know that staff deserve to work with the very best equipment, so we want to make the staff experience of work much better as well, because that's something we inherited from the last government. And we, last week we were able to make sure that staff had the pay awards given to them that was allocated, suggested by the pay review body. So we're very determined to make sure that staff have the very best equipment, the better terms and conditions than they've had over the last 14 years, and crucially patients have the best treatment that we can manage.
I don't know if you managed to see the front page of the Daily Mail this morning, but it's the first ever NHS Rich List, as they're calling it. They're describing it as a scandal. Nearly 300 health bosses are on pay packages worth more than £200,000. That's more than the Prime Minister, they say. And this is at a time when people are struggling to make ends meet. They've got the 8 a.m. scramble for appointments to try and see their doctors, and some of them languishing on waiting lists for 18 months to try and get surgery. I mean, do you think this is appropriate?
Well, I haven't seen that particular headline. I've been talking to various media about the improvements we're making this morning. But overall, we have changed what's called the very senior managers pay framework this year. It is important that these leaders, they're running very large organisations. They've got a very tough job to do, both doctors and managers, to put the NHS being fit for the future. But we have been very clear that we want to make sure we attract the best to places that need need to do better, but we won't actually reward failure, which has happened in the past. So we have made changes this year, which will come on stream going forward, because it's very important that taxpayers know there is value for their money, and that these leaders that we want to recruit and attract are doing the best job possible, but that the remuneration they get is well managed and looked at very carefully by the local system to keep it in line with what we'd expect.
OK, and again, on the Telegraph here today, they're reporting 2 men a day are having trans surgery on the NHS. That's cost us £20 million over the course of 3 years. We're talking about cutting waste quite a lot under this government. Are you planning to crack down on things like this at all? I mean, there's a story at the end of it here. We're talking about 18-year-olds among those having this surgery, which of course is irreversible and can leave them infertile. Will you be cracking down on things like that in NHS spending?
Well, we want to make sure that every treatment and every surgery is absolutely clinically effective. With regard to gender services, there is a review that we have initiated across looking at gender services in the round. So medication, treatment, surgery will be looked at absolutely. More widely, of course, we're making sure that every treatment that patients have is evidenced. We have some great research and development here in this country. Research and development and clinical trials is a key part of our plan for change, for growing the economy in the future. So bringing that together with clinicians to be able to make sure patients have the right treatment is absolutely key about what we want to try and do.
Can I ask you about this plan for the government to ask Kosovo to take small boat migrants? This is part of the return hub plan that this government has across Europe. Now, I just wanted to check to see if due diligence had been done that Kosovo would actually be happy to be a returns hub, because you remember the Prime Minister went to Albania to discuss this very similar scheme with the Albanians, and they said they wanted no part of it, and that was very embarrassing for the Prime Minister.
Well, I'm only just hearing about this. I understand it's an article in one of the newspapers today. Obviously, our Home Office colleagues are looking at all options to make sure that we have, that we do stop these boats, that we break those criminal gangs. I'm not aware of any particular links to any particular country. That's a story I think is in the newspapers today. But obviously, my colleagues at the Home Office are working all out to make sure that we resolve this issue.
OK, and Nigel Farage is going to apparently challenge your boss, Sir Keir Starmer, to visit a working men's club with him in the north of England. He claims that the Prime Minister is out of touch with working class people. Do you think the Labour Party is out of touch with what working class people actually want?
No, I don't. I think making sure that working people have access to better quality of life, better pay, better conditions for them and their families, better housing, all of that is a key part of our plan for change. That's what we promised the people back in July. That's what we're delivering, and that's what Keir Starmer is 100% focused on. He's not focused on gimmicks. He's focused on getting on with that plan for change and to deliver.
Sorry, I beg your pardon, there's working people and working class people. Does the Prime Minister understand the difference between those two things?
Yeah, well, the Prime Minister, as has been well-trailed and he makes very clear all the time, is from a working-class family, his father being a toolmaker. That pride in work, that supporting your family, that patriotism to your country, his love of Arsenal Football Club, all of those things are what drive Keir Starmer to make this country a better place and get rid of the chaos that we've had under the last government. And that's what he's 100% focused on.
OK, Karin Smyth, we're out of time with you this morning, I'm afraid. Thank you so much.
Thank you.